Mona? Again?
What? The more roles you play, the more you get paid. That's what Alice said. I was hoping to do even more than this, but it is what it is. Anyway, the crest is with me. All I need to know is how much you're willing to cough up to get it. Let's talk business, shall we? No, we both know this crest is worth more than that. Good enough for me. Gotta know when to fold, right? All right, here's the crest. Huh. And with that, I'm off the clock. Oh, and by the way, word has it you accomplished something major in Nodcry. You reeled in the true moon from beyond the false firmament. Well, I spend most of my time staring into a scry glass after all. If something changes in the sky, you think I wouldn't notice? Hydromancy uses the false stars to reflect true fate within the water. Now, I can't help but wonder what I would see if I cast a reflection of the true moon instead. Of course, I need a whole new set of equipment to look into that, which means shelling out a whole lot of mora. So I've been taking on a lot of odd jobs.
No wonder Alice gave you quite a few parts in this.
Generous compensation, minimal manual labor. It's been a good gig. Plus, the Hexen Circle never promises an amount they can't deliver. Even though her daughter is, in some part, responsible for my predicament. That was a long time ago, and I know Klee didn't mean it.
Huh. I guess the moon's a big deal in hydromancy. Just spitballing here, but it kind of sounds like your progress would be much faster if you, I don't know, just contacted Barbeloth directly.
Oh, come on. Enough about that old hag. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Oh, come on. Enough about that old hag. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
The Fatus up ahead is a pragmatist. You might have a chance to avoid conflict if you obtain the other crests first.
What? They handed over their crests? Looks like the decision has been made for me then. Further resistance would be foolish.
Gotta say, Paimon didn't expect you to play this kind of role, Durin.
Well, actually, Aunt Alice was planning for me to play Dvalin if the dragon himself didn't agree to take part. That was the backup plan. Apparently, there's a spell like the one used to make Simulanka that could change me back into an evil dragon.
That does not sound like a good idea.
I have to agree. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
I don't think I'd be very good at playing the evil dragon anyway. I'm not intimidating enough. Luckily, Dvalin agreed to take part after all, so my role was switched to Timid Fatui Guard B, and I got to wear a costume instead.
Well, that's a pretty huge change. Why B, though?
Oh, because Mika is Guard A.
As expected, Alice has got it all planned out.
All Right, we got all the crests. Let's head back and look for Mika.
I'm just glad I didn't have to play the evil dragon in the end.
Mika! We have the crests.
All right. This elevator's a bit complicated to operate, so Miss Nicole asked me to help activate it. Just one moment.
Thanks.
No problem. Best of luck up there.
Huh. I don't remember Fatui being this nice. Where's the fun in that?
Of course you want to make things difficult. Come on, let's get out of here.
Best of luck up there.
Security's tight around here.
I hope this is safe.
The Holy Liar! Here it is! Wait, but Paimon remembers something about a...
Hot-blooded, careless, and reckless heroes! Despair, for you have stepped into my trap! Wait, what? All it did was lock the liar up! Well, I wasn't the one who designed it! All Alice said was that activating it would turn the tables.
I see.
That checks out.
They laugh as if they already know what is to transpire. I do not have a good feeling about this. Allow me to clarify before we proceed. How was it that the lyre was retrieved back then?
From what I've heard, the Fatui agent guarding this place was given a thorough beating, and then the lock opened.
So then, I'm the one who walked into the trap?
Do not despair, mein Fräulein. Miss Alice provided us with backup, did she not? We are not entirely outmatched.
'Tis true. Though thine Prinzessin stands on the cusp of defeat, courage has not yet failed her. Let this be our last stand! Come forth, my loyal servants! Smite all who stand against us!
Look! The Ravens get confused if they don't hit anyone. Now's your chance!
Group 2, reinforce! Group 3, Group 4! Oh, forget it. All of you, attack at once! Well, it seems I must send forth my most capable servant of all. He shall dispose of you in one fell swoop.
As you wish, mein Fräulein.
Brace yourselves.
Verdict is...
Here we go. Think you can get away? Let's play. Ha! Yeah.
Our situation is dire.
All right. I give up. All right. I know when I'm beat. You win.
You were brilliant, Miss Fischl. The recording was fantastic. I'm certain future participants will have a great time.
Yeah! This role was perfect for you!
Huh. Your praise is a compliment to your own good sense. Yet know that this is but the least of your princess's abundant talents.
Huh. It doesn't look like the lock is opened, though.
True. This isn't what we were told would happen.
I doubt the mages want us to just break it open. It's not their style.
Perhaps we haven't met a certain condition then?
Oh, wait! Does that mean the beating up part has to happen for this to proceed? You dare place your princessin in such a scene? 'Tis an affront of the highest order!
I'm afraid it may be the only way to end this, mein Fräulein. But not to worry. It's all pretend, after all.
Very well. I shall allow this trespass, if only to bring this to an end. Just be gentle.
Huh? Oh, right. Paimon's the weakest one here. Here goes nothing.
It's open!
Miss Alice does love to tease, doesn't she?
Congratulations on obtaining the Holy Lyre der Himmel. That's a wrap for now.
Wow! This is quite the gathering. And do you smell that? Is that the secret menu Barker was talking about? Oh, Paimon's stomach has been rumbling this whole time, so she's gonna dig in. Don't forget to grab some food before it's all gone, okay?
Oh, hello. Did you need something? You know, we often threw banquets like this when I was little. But then, as more and more of our ranks left on expeditions and I was left in charge, the number of celebrations decreased. I'm not the most natural entertainer after all. Now, seeing a gathering like this after all this time, I can't help but feel a bit regretful for not keeping up the tradition.
Well said, traveler.
Barbara?
You told me you wanted the expedition members to feel at home. But in my eyes, the feeling of home isn't something you can force. Home is... what happens when we're all together like this?
Oh, you're right. And you know what? I've been coming to the same conclusion. The location isn't the most important factor. No matter how far we get from Mondstadt, home is wherever we're together. I appreciate the kind words, you two. I will do just that. Make sure to do the same, Traveler. It's not often you get to make it back here. There's a lot of people waiting to catch up. Now that we're outside the bubble and no longer in character, there should be plenty of time.
Hey! Honorary Knight! Look up! Pretty stellar view from up here, and the breeze is nice too. Care to join me?
Oh, of all the places to sit, it just had to be there. Well, to each their own, I suppose. Just be careful on the way up, Traveler.
Wanna eat at our table? A whole bunch of friends are there.
All right, let the relaxing begin.
Noelle! I've been looking everywhere for you. Come on, join us. Just give me 1 second. I need to bring a few crates of drinks over first. But I'll be done soon, I promise. In that case, I'll help you out.
Even though I didn't have a lot of lines, I still had fun. It kind of felt like being back in the Simulanka. Acting out a light-hearted script alongside a bunch of friends? It was nice to have a laid-back experience for once.
Quite a change of pace from our experience in Not Cry, huh?
Yeah, this was far less complicated.
You can say that again.
As the battle hung in the balance, I spoke an incantation from the Imanakreich, broke through their ranks with ease, and thus the holy lyre was mine. 'Twas light work for one such as I.
Cyrus told me all about it. You were amazing. Having seen it for myself, I must admit, you were quite something, my lady. Why, I bet even Barbados himself would have been hard-pressed to catch up with you.
That was Hexencircle magic, not some incantation, but... whatever. Guess I'll let her have her moment.
Don't worry, Paimon will save you a serving of every delicious dish.
Have a seat. I come bearing drinks. Booze free, of course. You're welcome. Well, that's what being home is all about, right? Letting go, feeling at ease. Figure we both deserve that after all this time. You think so? Glad to hear it. There's no place like home. That's what people say, right? The expedition took me far and wide, and still, little alcohol in my system, it would all come back. The cathedral, the statue, the windmills in the city, the pigeons and dandelions in front of the gate. The further away you get, the more you miss it. I might be biased, but means a lot that you care about this place. I get that. The people are what make Mondstadt what it is, too. All the carefree kids running around, livening up the place. Which reminds me, I never thanked you for helping Mondstadt out back then. It takes a special person to do what you did. Most people are helpless in the face of abyssal corruption. Considering their target was Dvalin, things could have been bad. I suppose Barbados could have handled it, even though he hadn't been awake for long. But still, I doubt the ending would have turned out quite so perfect. Dvalin is family to him, you know? Having to choose between the dragon's life and Mondstadt's safety, that would have been cruel. Not to mention, the Wild Hunt would have reached our borders sooner or later. We'd have been stretched thin without your help. Maybe you've never put two and two together, but what you did in Natlan also helped reduce the threat of the Wild Hunt. If Natlan's crisis hadn't been resolved, the two abyssal powers might have joined forces at some point, making our situation even more dire. Ha! Look at us, taking down the Abyss in two separate nations. Doing the Knights of Favonius proud, aren't we? I guess not. In any case, for a knight, honor is something you get to define for yourself, no matter what the outside world thinks. And that's the question, isn't it? Why do we do what we do? But I think it's safe to say you already know the answer.
Ah, so this is where you've been hiding. You know, I don't think this was designed for sitting.
Ha! When did you become such a stickler? Come have a drink with us. There's plenty.
Don't mind if I do. Grape juice? Again?
You know, Charles would never let me hear the end of it if I started drinking without him.
Disappointing, but understandable. Oh, I almost forgot. Since this banquet is also for the actors, I invited Dvalin.
All right. Might hike up the bill a bit, but who cares? Haven't seen him in too long.
Yeah, well, he turned me down. He never did like being the center of attention. The city is a little too small for him to spread his wings. Even if no one is afraid of him, he could still take out a windmill or two. Guess it's better not to risk it.
Huh. Maybe it's time to draft a proposal to build him a landing pad.
The Traveler's right. If this is what makes him comfortable, might as well let him be. In the meantime, I propose a toast to our honorary knight.
To our honorary knight.
I often think about our parting at Windrise, you know. And now, almost in the blink of an eye, the final stop on your journey is just around the corner. Snezhnaya. The Tsaritsa's plans have continued to advance. Now, only the Pyronosis remains free from her grasp.
But if even the captain couldn't take Malwika's Gnosis by force, I guess we don't need to be concerned about its safety for now. So that's good news, at least.
You wouldn't be taking a dig at someone else's ability to hold on to their Gnosis, now would you, Grandmaster?
Haha, of course not. I'm not one to rub salt in old wounds.
Her harbingers do often tend to take a rather extreme approach. Just look at Child or Senora. But we would be mistaken to ignore the fact that Senora did not win the Geonosis using force.
Right. You told me about the contract Morax signed with her before his death. You're saying she didn't need to resort to violence in Mondstadt either?
That's right. If she was able to provide a reason convincing enough to persuade Morax, she could have persuaded me no problem. I suppose she just didn't think there was a reason to negotiate. I had just woken up, so I must not have seemed like much of a threat. Honestly, the Gnosis was of no use to me. I didn't care who it belonged to or what means were used to take it. I just knew if I fought her in that moment, the cathedral, perhaps even the entire city, might have become collateral damage.
True. I wouldn't put it past Senora to take civilians as hostages either.
In the end, though, it was those same methods that led to her end. After all, her third target, the Raiden Shogun, wasn't a big negotiator back then. Perhaps Signora's success in Mondstadt and Liyue convinced her that she was a match for the Archon of any nation. You did the right thing. It pained me to see Inazuma as it was back then. I'm glad things have changed since. Of course, now the elite force of Harbingers has quite a few missing from its ranks, so I suspect that Tsaritsa no longer has the means to meddle in other nations like she used to. Who knows? Perhaps a chance to formally meet her in Snezhnaya might come sooner than we think.
Some of our knights remain stationed in Notcry. If you need help, just say the word, and we'll be there.
The look in your eyes. It's changed a lot since you first set off from Mondstadt. But my advice remains unchanged. Never forget that the journey itself has meaning, traveler. The birds of Tevat, the songs in the cities, the Tsaritsa, her Fatui and the monsters, they are all part of that journey. Perhaps earth-shaking truths and indescribable trials await you at the end. Just remember, there is more to life than that. All right, that's more than enough acting like a real Archon for one night. And still, not a sip of drink for dear old Venti at a time like this? You're no fun, Varka.
Dun dun dun!
Dun dun dun!
Da da da!
Da da da!
This is so fun, Mom!
I think so too. Come on, let's blow them all up!
Mom, when can I play with the magic toy you made me?
Very soon, darling. In fact, it should be ready tomorrow. I just know you're going to love it.
Yay! Can we play together?
Why, of course! We'll have ourselves a splendid time.
Three moons converge.
Annihilation mode.
Yeah!
Can't run from death.
Insulation chip. A new moon rises.
Without further ado, the sky's clear, the glazed moon shines! Huh?
Cleanup sequence initiate. Surge. A moonlit night for all. Ultimatum protocol.
Be cleansed!
Can't run from death.
A new moon rises.
Annihilation mode.
Yeah.
Can't run from death.
Accelerating.
Defensive mode.
A moonlit night for all. Surge.
Ultimatum protocol.
Yeah.
Can't run from death.
Yeah.
Insulation chip. A new moon rises.
Preparing for dust up.
Can't run from death.
Surge. A moonlit night for all.
Ultimatum protocol.
Can't run from death.
So you're looking after the drink stand now. If I'd known sooner, I would have stopped by this morning. I've got to say, I'm getting curious. I've heard a lot about your mixology skills. I wonder what kinds of drinks you can mix with the ingredients Glenfiddia has prepared. I don't have much of a choice. It's just one thing after another right now. First off, the Knights of Favonius annual combat assessment is coming up. And this year, the standards are higher than ever. As the captain of the reconnaissance company, I have to lead by example. At the very least, I need to rank as one of the top 3 captains in the practical portion. So, I've been intensifying my training lately. Being a descendant of sinners means I have to work hard to maintain my position. I'll have you know I've never once neglected my duties. Anyway, on top of all that, the General Affairs Company has invited a renowned champion duelist from the Court of Fontaine to come here for a swordsmanship exchange. Since I'm one of the captains with the highest attendance rate when it comes to these things, and I'm fairly skilled with a claymore, I was chosen as our representative. I have to prepare thoroughly to make sure I'm a serious match for the champion duelist. And then after the exchange, I need to write at least 6 different reports based on the results. Oh, I sure could. Anything that'll perk me up would be welcome. I'll leave the details to you.
One twinkling starlight for Captain Eula. Hope you like it.
Judging by your confident tone, I'm certain I will. Well then, I'll make sure to savor this thoroughly. Huh, not bad. Sweet and tingly, with a delightful airiness. The fizzy water really brings it to life. I suddenly feel full of vim and vigor. But just one glass doesn't quite scratch the itch. How about something with a bit more bite? Don't hold back. You don't need to worry about putting me on the floor with nothing but a couple of drinks. Works for me. The first company hasn't assigned me any paperwork for tonight, so I'm free to catch up and try your new creations at my leisure.
That's right. The merchant I got it from called it Romaritime flower fruit extract. It has a very unique smell. Here, have a bottle. Oh, it's a necessary courtesy. In that book Miss Magistus lent me, The Blade Dancer, 20 Years On, it says, after a duel, a Fontanian swordsman will politely invite their defeated opponents to a banquet. To properly play host to Miss Clorand, I searched for quite some time to locate a rare goods merchant in Dorman Port who sold this juice. I had my doubts at first, too. But Amber said something that makes a lot of sense. She said that even if this custom doesn't really exist, following it still shows I've made an effort to understand Fontaine's cultural heritage. Besides, who doesn't like trying new things, right? I'll treat Miss Clorand to this juice at our post-training banquet. Oh my. To be honest, I'm eager to begin, but also a little nervous. Miss Clorand's combat style comes from the mysterious Marechaussee hunters. In the library, there are some old Fontanian newspapers from hundreds of years ago that give some idea of how formidable an organization it was. A more recent newspaper claimed that Miss Clorand was an orphan from an underwater kingdom, and that before battle she would perform rituals inviting spirits to possess her sword. Assuming these rumors are true, or that Miss Clorand's abilities might even be more extraordinary than that, it's important that I'm prepared for anything. Incorporating elements of swordsmanship into a drink? Huh. Certainly a creative idea, I'll give you that. I sure could do with an energy boost, but how do you plan to express something like swordsmanship with a cocktail? That definitely matches the description I read in that book. That's right. You really know your stuff. I doubt there's anyone else in all of Tevat who could come up with such a perfect metaphor. There's no need to make it sound so fancy. It's just an aristocratic variant of Favonius bladework, with a bit of personal flair. Firewater. In recent years, firewaters gained popularity the world over, following in the wake of prosperous Snezhnayan merchants. These days, almost every tavern has a signature drink that uses it as a base. You really are good. Why don't we try replacing the fruit wine with firewater? As for the alcohol content, that's not a problem. Plenty of the expedition team may have drunk themselves senseless with firewater. But me, I'm full of confidence. Yes, I have. For a while, the situation there was difficult. A gang of outlaw engineers was messing about with some sort of mechanism control technology, attempting to manipulate ruin graders so they could rob merchant caravans. To make matters worse, several veteran knights who had been stationed at Dorman Port were transferred to my squad, and they weren't happy to be taking orders from that Lawrence girl. Leading them on this mission was quite eventful. It took 3 weeks of stealth operations in the snow, with no fires to keep us warm, before we finally located the enemy's stronghold. Those veteran knights faced the bitter cold and were almost taken down by the enemy's smuggled battle mechs. Fortunately, the battle went our way, and they had no choice but to acknowledge my abilities. Me? I'm completely fine. But thank you for your concern. It was mentally tiring for sure, but fortunately, the operation wore them down far more than it did me. They won't be questioning my authority again anytime soon. If any new recruits try to make my life difficult, I'll just have my veterans give them a few friendly pointers. I guess you could call them a permanent solution, huh? If you want to know what I've been eating recently, I'd better start by mentioning the logistics company's latest revolution. They launched a diet improvement initiative and started distributing a form of standardized canned food to knights operating in the wilderness. In the past, we only had dry rations. Every mealtime we had to set up pots and campfires, roll dice to choose a cook, and take turns standing guard. In all honesty, it was a bit of a hassle. Now we just need to bring our standard field rations, comprising of 5 cans and 9 paper packages. We can heat the cans by the campfire, and then we're ready to eat. You did say, sounds like, right? Our canned food supplier has quite the stellar reputation, and their regular meals are indeed quite good. The problem is, in order to meet preservation standards, they have to make their military-grade meals way too salty. The vice captain of the 5th Company, who has a somewhat dry sense of humor, went so far as to say, "This food's bad enough to bring down the wrath of Li Yue's stove god." In any case, after eating it for a week, my taste buds have gone completely numb. You can hardly blame the logistics company. After all, it is hard to please everyone. Our feedback has already been submitted, and they should be working on fixing the issue. Of course, having fresh meals prepared in camp by a dedicated company chef is still the best option. Brilliant! I'm looking forward to seeing how you do.
Here's your all-new Seafoam Sword Song, mixed to meet your personal preferences.
Oh my, what beautiful colors! And you even added my romaritime flower fruit extract. The aroma is perfect, and I can smell the alcohol, but it doesn't stifle the fruity fragrance. Let's see how it tastes. Give me a moment to come up with the right words. I need to think carefully. I know it's unbecoming of a lady, and a proper connoisseur would savor their drink slowly. But I'm sorry, this is just too good to be true. Can you mix me another? Oh, no, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh, whatever. I feel fantastic. This cocktail. Oh, it's the best I've ever had. I think I'm gonna head home and get some sleep. Don't worry about me. This is the happiest tipsy I've been in years. I'm still far from being drunk. By the time I've gone a few rounds with that, Miss Chlorine, and completed my reports, I'll have been on duty for 3 months straight. Jean, the acting grandmaster. Isn't it about time she gave me some time off? I won't be forgetting this injustice in a hurry. You mark my words.